Hi, welcome to Practical Programming. Here we shall give a practical touch to some of the theoretical questions we might find in programming. So let's get started. So let's look at today's problem. So we have to print list of prime numbers, and the details for our problem is for a given number, print all numbers which are prime numbers till that given number. Okay, we should look at an example before we make much of it. If the input would be 9 for our program, we should print 2357. Before we go any further, we need to understand what is a prime number. So let's have a look at the definition of it, or we can look at the condition which makes a prime number a prime number. So it should be divisible only by two different numbers. So make a note of it, it has to be two different numbers which it shall be divisible by. So the first number it's going to be divisible by is 1, and the other would be that number itself. So you might think 1 is divisible by 1 and itself, so it is a prime number, but it is not. Look at the first condition, because it says it has to be divisible by two different numbers, first being 1 and another one is that number itself, which makes 1 is not a prime number. So let's look at a few examples which would give us some gist of a prime number. As we have already discussed that 1 is not a prime number as it has only one divisible, which is itself, and we need at least two divisible to be a prime number. So 1 is not, 2 and 3 are, 4 is not because it has 1, 2 and 4 as divisible, so it has more than 2 divisible, so 4 does not meet our condition. And you can see following numbers in similar manner. So let's look at code, and we will try to come up with a solution which will print a list of prime numbers until a given number in a problem. Hi everyone, welcome to code portion of the tutorial. Here we will try to finish our code for finding list of prime numbers. I would be using IntelliJ IDEA from JetBrains as an IDE. You're free to choose any other IDE you would like, and the language which I would be using to code would be Java, and again you can choose any other language you would like. So let's get started, and we shall create a project first because that's needed. Okay, I'm gonna click here, create project. So I can choose this one, but it's going to be a bare bone Java project, but I like to use some dependency tools as well. So I'm going to use Gradle, which will provide me some dependency in case if I need to write any other task which I need to automate, it will handle that. So I have chosen Java and Kotlin, these two languages which I use a lot to code. And let's go, and yeah, of course, if you don't have this, you might require it. So what it does is it checks what JDK installation you have on your computer, and you have to check that in over here. So it's going to be that location. So you're all set, and if you don't have one, you need to create new and mention where that would be. In my case, it's somewhere over here. So let's say next, and I need a name. Okay, I'm not good with this, so I'm just gonna write this. Alright, and I'm good at copy pasting if you don't know. Let's check next. So I want this. Okay, that should do it. You know what, let me just put it somewhere else where I remember later on. Java projects. Okay, that should do it. But okay, but again, you can put it anywhere you like. It's just I'm trying to make sure I'll remember next time when I come over here. And it says, okay, cool, it's just telling me that directory is not available. It's going to create one for me, so I click OK. And at this point we just wait for IntelliJ IDEA to complete it's the basic scripts which will allow us to create it will allow it to create a bare bone of that our application, which is a Gradle type, and it's going to support two languages, Java and Kotlin. Alright, now that we have our project created by IntelliJ IDEA, let's check few things. So src directory is usually the one where we would be writing all of our code. Gradle is something we're not going to concern ourselves, and these two they belong to the IDE, so let's just stay away from them for a while, and later sometime I will let you know what it is. But whatever IntelliJ IDEA has created for us, we would like to test that if the project was created was okay, and if it does not need anything more. I'm gonna write some insane name. Please do not do what I'm doing. Just wrote a class, okay, and I will try to run that one. Okay, it shouldn't look like this, but that I'm gonna live with that. So that's the shortcut to write this main method, and the shortcut for printing something. I'm not sure why it's running so slow today. Okay, let's hope it runs. Okay, so Gradle is running, and it's gonna make class out of it. Okay, and that says hello project, and I don't need to know what Gradle is doing behind the scene. If you have a new version of IntelliJ IDEA, you might come across this. So let's try to disable that. I want IntelliJ IDEA to run the code directly, otherwise it's going to take a lot of time to do everything through Gradle. Let's go to compiler. Alright, Gradle, that's my build tool, that's the Gradle. Alright, here I want my project build and run using Gradle. I want that to be IntelliJ IDEA, and if I happen to write test cases, I'm not sure if I will, but I want that to be run as through IntelliJ IDEA as well, not through Gradle. In case if I was doing automation, I would target Gradle and see how things are working with it, but IntelliJ IDEA should do the job. Okay, and let's try to run this again. Oh my, why is it taking so much time? Hello project. So that does work. So I'm gonna delete this file because I don't need it, because I just tested that the project which is created by IntelliJ IDEA is okay. So we can start writing our code now. Now that everything's ready, we shall start writing something. Let me give a package name, so when I come back I would know where am I and what am I doing. Don't name things the way I'm doing. I'm just doing this for my convenience later on. Basic. If I would be actually coding for somebody else or for some firm, I wouldn't be coding or putting names like this. Okay, so first tutorial, so test 101 prime number. Okay, now that we have that, let's try to run this. I'm gonna need a function which will run this code. So public static void main, and I get my main function, and let's try to say test out. It's not going to do anything right now, but I just want to run it. I usually keep a very tight feedback loop, so I know if something were to go wrong, I can just revert the last mistake I made. So we need to take input from the user, so I'm gonna do this private static final scanner. If you don't know what scanner is, you probably don't need to know right now. And it just what it does is going to help us take an input from the user. In our case, the input would be from the console. Not going to write any UI for this application. We can say next int, so we're going to take an integer. Let's define a variable. If I do alt enter, it will give me this option, so I can make a variable out of this and it would be type integer. So let's say user input. Cool. Now that we have that, let's try to print that as well. User said, hang on, entered blah blah blah, and user input. Let's see if that works for me fine. I'm not even sure why I'm checking everything so much. So the code is running. Let's say 5, and yes, it does work. So now that we have user input, we need to loop through all the numbers to kind of know if it is a prime number or not, and we will print if it is prime number. So gonna need a for loop for. So in Java, that's how the for loops are created. So I can say index, and I'm gonna say user input. All right, this should be okay. I'm gonna make that 1. We're not checking for zeros, and this equal to, what it means is this statement will make sure anything under this block will run that many times. It will start at 1, and until it meets that user input max level of integer, it will keep on repeating. So what I mean is s out, let's say index, and we'll say index at, and we'll printing that. Okay, keep on printing it. So let's enter something, and this time I'll say 4, and if I enter this, you will see the for loop code has run 4 times from index 1 to 4, which you can see over here. Cool. Now that we have done this, so let's, okay, you know what, I'm gonna save this portion. Oh, I had to initialize this, right? Okay, don't worry about this. I'm just doing this to save us some trouble. Get and get comment show comment. All right, I don't have any place to push, so I'm gonna leave it. So let's say we're gonna create a if condition, if, and we're gonna create a function or a method in Java. That's what I would say, is prime number. Okay, we don't have anything like that, so that's gonna be coded red, which means it's giving me an error. I can't really run this code. So I'll say create a method in this class, which it has done. Thank you. And it's going to return me false. Boolean in programming means yes or no. Boolean true means yes, Boolean false means no. So this function which tell me true or false. Okay, right now it's returning false all the time, but I can change it true and say s out. Okay, and that index, and it will print that. So this code under this will only run if the isPrime function returns true, but if I were to say false, it won't run anything. So let's say true right now. Okay, if I were to run this code, okay, let's say 7. Well, it actually says our function is because it returns everything as true, so it can't deduce which is prime, which is not. So this is the portion where we will need to write some code, some logic which will deduce if or it is not a given number is prime or not. So we probably need to give this index here. So it's now that we have, oh boy, now I'm running into issues. Now I have providing an argument here, so this is gonna need a parameter to receive that, int given number. All right, so now it can receive it. We need to check if this number is prime or not. Okay, so from the definition we know prime number has two divisible. First one is 1, and the second number itself. So the hypothesis of this function would be that everything we are providing in this parameter going to be a prime number. So we need to write code within these blocks to prove they are not. So if it passes all the checks that it is not it is a prime, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. I know if in case if we get any negative numbers or 1, they are not a prime number. So let's do that. If given number is less than equal to 1, we will return false, so that's not a prime number. Okay, so let me run this thing once. Let me check. If I enter 4, this gives me 2, 3, 4. I know 4 is not prime, so things like that we need to take care of. So we covered one. Can't code everything like that for every single number we have. We need to check through mod. Okay, so mod is an operator which finds if something has a divisible, completely divisible or not. In another ways, if we get remainders or not. So we know 5 is a prime number. So 5 more divided by 5 will not gonna have any remainder. It's gonna be 0. So if I do control enter, okay, Kotlin, so that's 0. So 5 is only divisible 5 by and not other number. For example, 5 mod 4 is not gonna divide itself completely because we get 1 as a remainder. So 5 is only divisible by 1 and 5. So we need to work through that. Okay, so but we have to check for every number less than given number if it's divisible or not. So we'll do this. Another for loop, another index variable, and we're gonna start this at 2. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you why. I'm gonna leave that as homework for you. So we have given number, and let's divide that by 2, because if any number, okay, bigger than the half of the given number, it's not going to divide given number at all. So we're gonna check until that point. All right, so we had to do this. If given number mod check if it's completely divisible or not, we're gonna do index so equal to 0. It means that given number, if it's divisible and remainder is 0, it means it is not a prime number. Return false. Okay, so let's say you are given with 5 over here, so this not gonna happen, and when this loops over 5, it will loop until only 2. So hang on, 5 divided, okay, so is not gonna run this as well. It's gonna skip this portion for 5, and you're gonna get true for 5, and so you are gonna get true for 3 as well. But when it comes to 4, when you're gonna have 4 here and 2 comes over here, so you know it is divisible by 2 completely, so it's gonna say false. So let's run that thing. Let's say our input is 5, 2, 3, 5. That looks okay. Let's run that one more time. Let's say 7, 2, 3, 5, 7 sounds okay. One more check. Let's say 51, because I know 51 is not a prime number. So far so good. You know what, let's do this. 1000. Okay, I earlier checked the numbers for prime. So far so good. So I believe that's all I have for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put this code on GitHub so you can check up later. If you have a better solution, please let me know. I'll update. I know whatever I've done is not the best thing, but as you learn more about prime numbers, you would be able to come up with a much better solutions. Thank you so much for your precious time. You have a very good day.